I love routine and I love schedules and I love the flexibility. I know that seems a little like an oxymoron, but I love the flexibility that having a routine and a schedule gives. It's also really challenging when it's time to start a new routine, a new habit, a new schedule. And today we dive into what we can do I use the example of heading into the new school year, but it translates to any routine or any schedule that you're trying to do, any shift that you need to make for the season or for habits or whatever you need. So let's dive in and let's talk about what we need to start a new routine. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I am your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Something about ending the school year and stepping into the summer vacation. There's something exciting about it. Like, weather's getting warmer. Things are, you're coming out of spring. So, the grass is greener, and not even on the other side, like on your side, it's getting greener. Okay. I know that was cheesy, but anyway, if you know me, you know that I am pretty sassy, pretty cheesy anyway, but I digress. Back to my focus, back to what I have for you today to help you, because we look forward to summer vacation. I look forward to the releasing some of the routines. I look at I'm excited about the kids, just seeing them with their summer lives. It's not as structured. It's not as full. Like, we have a really busy summer. Like, we have a lot of things going on, but it's more flexible, it's a different feel when kids get out of summer. And you're like, Tammy, it's the end of summer. Why are you talking about this? Because I wanted to talk about how exciting it is. And then it's a whole new experience when we are looking at the calendar and realizing that school is about to start. And so even with homeschooling, we have a start date and a stop date. There are a couple of things the kids work on through the summer because they choose to not get it all done during the school year. Their choice, not mine. I just get to keep them accountable. But we look at the calendar and we see that there's structure coming. Like, we crave consistency and structure and routine. And let's face it, ladies, sometimes we even crave a little bit of a break, right? Like, they're getting bored, you're getting bored, you've done all the things, they're tired of the pool, they're tired of maybe not playing with their friends, but they're tired of the day-to-day of summer, and they're ready for some structure as well. So I wanted to talk about that because I know many of you started something new, took advantage of the flexible summer, and you started a business. You started working on this purpose-aligned life. You've started to create something, and knowing that, like, you're going to pour gas on it when summer comes to an end, when there's a little more routine. And so we're looking forward to coming back and getting back into somewhat routine. So I wanted to talk about that because it's definitely a mindset shift, and there's so many things that we're looking forward to, and then there's so many things that we're going to miss. Like, I'm going to miss the flexible. I'm going to miss the kids not waking up till 1 p.m. Granted, they stay up till like 1 a.m., but hey, I'm in bed. It doesn't affect me. But like, I'm going to miss seeing them in their lackadaisical attitude. And then I have to go back to, teacher mode and accomplishing mode and things. And while I'm trying to make that shift, which, let's face it, who wants to go from living the high life to now all of a sudden being accountable? How many times do we get home from vacation and are like, whew, it is a rough, like we are excited about getting back into our routine and getting like, you know, we're missing vacation, of course. But I love what I do so much that I get excited about coming back. But stepping back into the routine is hard. It's challenging and our brains kind of revolts, and same with our kids. And so getting back into meal routines, snack routines, making lunch routines, going to bed on time, getting up at the really early crack of dawn so they can make the school bus. Even my kids, getting up and on a schedule, which one of the difficulties about homeschooling, similar to running your own business, is there's not that accountability of like, you have a hard stop. The bus is here at 6:50. If you're not on it, figure out how to way to get to school, get to work or whatever. Being homeschooled is similar to running your own business where you have some freedom and a flexibility and you have to build in those routines and those accountabilities. And you revolt. They revolt. We don't want to do it. And so the first couple weeks of summer, the school year, is like a crap show. Like we try to make it work. And I wanted to talk to you today about I wanted to talk about, let me look through my notes, but I want to talk about three steps we can take to help the process. And then I want to talk about 3 mindset shifts that we can embrace and we can embody in order to set ourselves up for success and our kids up for success. So let's do this. Let's look at what we can do, because I know that there's a mixed bag. Like you're torn. Like the randomness of summer is so exciting. And the fact that it's like less responsibilities but then it's like our minds crave consistency, routine. We do better when we know what to expect and when we know what's happening when and things. And even the creatives, having some boundaries in your schedule. So I know, like I did this for a long time. It's like, well, I want a flexible schedule. I don't want to put things on my calendar. And then I would get nothing done. So I actually have more free time now that I've created this and I follow through with these 3 steps and I have these mindset shifts that I need in order to get me to the next level, to get to the routine and to get into that structure that I like. And it gives me more freedom. There is freedom in rules and structure. If God has not taught us anything, it's freedom in knowing our boundaries and knowing what we like and we don't like. And so this helps with that. So here we go. 6 minutes in, and I'm still explaining to you why we're doing this. But first is we're going to plan and prepare. So we know the first, let's say 3 weeks, a month, we know it's going to be hectic. We know that the kids are not going to get up on time. We know that they're going to miss the bus at times. We know that they're not going to have their lunch, or if they made their lunch or you made their lunch, they're going to forget their lunch. We know that there's going to be hiccups. We also know that the craziness of family commitments and all the different meet the teachers, and we have a slew of commitments that we have to put on the calendar. Then there's always the things to do to get ready, like the school shopping and all of the things. So one of the best things we can do is sit down and write everything out that you can think of that you need to manage in the next couple of weeks. We'll just look at the couple of weeks first, because one thing I've learned, every year is different. There are some similarities, but there's never, I can't use last year's routine this year. It even changes as they move up in school or they move to a different school, the pick up and drop off times are different. So we can't even pick our bedtime routines can't even be the same. So first, let's look at what are all the things in the next couple of weeks that we have to manage. And so and then put it in different categories of which ones take preparation, which ones do I just need to show up for? If you just got to show up for it, put it on your calendar, set it, forget it, and you're good. And put reminders. I have to put reminders on my activities 30 minutes in advance. Sometimes I put an hour. If I know it takes me 30 minutes to get there, I put an hour reminder and a 30-minute reminder. So that way I know this reminder, get in the car and go. So plan and prepare. So create. So let's give yourself a little bit of grace. We don't want so detailed that there's no flexibility, because again, we don't know what's about to happen. We don't know all of the back to school things that are going to happen. And even with homeschool, the co-op that we're through classical conversations, which is there's get-togethers, there's study groups, there's workshops to get back into the groove of learning the language and all of that. And so you don't know what you don't know at this point. So get down on paper all the things you do know, and then the things that you believe are going to trip you up. Bedtime, wake up. Doesn't matter if they go to bed at 7 p.m. You know they're still going to struggle to get up first thing in the morning. And so you need to, you need to plan accordingly and get yourself up and say, okay, if I have their breakfast done, if I have whether it's cereal or waffles, like have it ready and prepared, give them some grace, build some grace into their schedule. So that way they can make that 6:50 bus and you're not taking them to school. Them being successful makes it a lot easier for you to be successful. We got to remember that, ladies, that sometimes making sure that they have everything and going extra to make sure that they are taken care of gives us the freedom it gives us more time and it saves our energy so we can take care of what we need to take care of. So make a list, make it 2 things that are going to need preparation and things that are just set it, forget it, show up, like put it on your calendar. So set those things aside, put it on your calendar, and then make sure you review your calendar. Like look a couple days in advance. That's just a pro tip right there is you don't just put it on there and then look at the morning of, at least the night before. Give yourself that gift of looking over what you have going on so things don't freak you out and scare you. Like there's times that I'm like, oh, I did not plan for that at all. All right. So now we're going with the list of things that we know that we need to plan for. Some of it we know how to plan for it. So do it. Start planning for it. Put it on your calendar for planning times of, okay, I know that lunches, I need to go and buy all the school snacks. Put that on your calendar or delegate and have your groceries delivered by Walmart or Safeway or Raley's or whatever your grocery store is. I guarantee they have delivery now. Even Costco delivers. So that's one thing you can do and to cut yourself, because you're looking for ways that you can save yourself energy, that you can plan ahead, ways to get everything done so that way you can get into a routine. You can keep your momentum going and you can still stay and manage your energy so that way you can continue what you're doing. You can continue to make those wise choices and you're not starting from scratch. So after we plan and prepare, like have your lists, plan to plan, and then prioritize of what you need to do and what you have someone else do. Like I said, delegate, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your child. Now that Isaac drives, he does run to the grocery store for me and I give him a list and he can do it. And I love it. And he loves it because he gets out of the house and he feels that it is, the lesser of the evils, the lesser of the chores that he has to do. And so I can give him a list. And does he get everything right? No, but he gets it mostly right. It still takes me way less time to write out a list and give it to him and let him drive the 30 minutes to go. And so prioritize what only can be done by you. And this, be honest with this, ladies. And we're talking about the first couple of weeks. And then we're talking about as you get into the routine and as they get used to the wake up and going to school and all of that, then you can start delegating it to the kids again, as in making their lunches or whatever morning tasks they do. Right now, if they're successful, we're successful. If they get into their routine, if they get to where they need to be, then we can move to the next thing that's on our list. So yes, we want them to be successful for their own benefit, but we're also, this is kind of selfish. Whereas if they can get there, then I can set that aside. I can not worry about them until they are done with XYZ, and I can take care of what I need to take care of. When school is starting, ladies, we have a lot of things we have to take care of. So prioritize. What has to be done by you? Is there anything that really you can be flexible on? Like the making lunches. For the first couple of weeks, can they just buy lunch? Would that make it easier for both of you? then that might be something that like they can look forward to. My kids, I mean, we know that lunches are not great, but kids look forward to it. So like go on with your bad self. This doesn't work out for me because we are homeschooled and I'm the lunch lady as well. So they make their own lunches, but I will get mini pizzas and I will get burritos and chicken pot pies and things that they can make quick until we're in the routine of whose day is it to make lunch. Like, so there is like, even if you're homeschooling, there's ways like, let's get creative, ladies. Let's get creative because again, if they're successful and they have what they need, then that energy that we are trying to make up for whatever and fix, we can use towards whatever we need, whatever we get, whatever we want to use it for. All right. So the next thing is start to pay attention to those couple of, what are some of the things that are coming ahead? So what routines could you bring that worked before? So knowing that emptying the dishwasher in the morning is something that helps me throughout the day because then I can just put the dishes in as they're in there, but it helps me be more centered. Kids don't love it. They don't think they should have to empty it until the end of the day when they're about to fill it up. I don't think I'm ever going to convince them of this until they have their own house. So establishing routines, and we're going back to, well, since you're up, you get to do that. And just establishing a routine for yourself first. So your morning routine, what gives you energy? Like, think about it, write it out. What is something you can look forward to in the morning? I really enjoy sitting with my tea on the front porch. It has been 90 plus degrees in the morning, so I've not done that in a while. But when school starts, I start to get to like, that's the signal that fall is coming. And I get to do that again. And so before I start waking the kids up, I get to go and I look forward to that routine. I get to go and sit on the porch and have my cup of tea and just be for a few minutes before all of the craziness of I don't want to wake up happens. So we have plan and prepare, prioritize and delegate. And then we have those, like, choose a routine or two for yourself first. Something little, something you can look forward to, something that brings you energy. So what in this season brings you energy and brings you joy? If it's not making breakfast in the morning, maybe I love meal planning. I love making on Sundays. We try to either make frittatas or breakfast burritos and I throw them in the freezer. So we have that. Like, I know that during this first few weeks of school, the lack of routine, it causes issues. So there's things that I can put in place. We do go back to the routine of doing those on Sundays. That is something that can be easily done because we don't have a lot going on. That's something that we can easily add to our routine right away. And then we have breakfast for the week. So think about what routines you can add for yourself. What's something you can look forward to? Like, enjoy this, because if we're calm, if we wake up in a peaceful, in a way that we are settled and peaceful, then we wake them up with a different energy. And if we're frantic, they're frantic. If we're not frantic, they're still frantic, but we can at least manage our own emotions. Like, let's take care of ourselves, put on our own oxygen masks, ladies, and then put on theirs. First, we have to get ourselves back into a routine, and then we can look at what will work for them. So here are some mindset shifts. Here are some mindset shifts for success in these early, not just in these early days, these early weeks, but these will help you. If you can shift and you can think in this way, it will help you bring the routines faster. It helps you bring order and structure faster. First one is embrace flexibility. Now, we know that all chains were broken during the summer. Even chores were done at different times than needs to be done during the fall and winter, during the school season, right? So embrace flexibility. What is the ultimate outcome you're looking for? What do you want them to feel? Now, it doesn't mean we let them off the hook or we take everything for them. That's not what I'm saying here. It means that over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be stressful for them too. They have new teachers, new schedules, new work. Their brains are like, no, we want to stay in summer mode. It's still hot outside. So their brains are still on summer mode and they just want to lay around and swim versus do math and write papers. I don't blame them. But if we embrace flexibility, shift to understand that while routines are important, the flexibility actually, okay, so I just thought this is where like social programming, like when I was in the Air Force, it's flexibility is the key to air power. Like, so that's what, as soon as I said flexibility is key, like my brain went into air power. Flexibility is key to handling unexpected changes and challenges. Have your routine, but hold it loosely until you know what's going to work best for each of your kids. And you know that every kid is different. So one routine for one does not work for the other. For Lindis, we have to give her time to wake up in the morning. We don't even acknowledge her until after she has had her cup of hot chocolate. She has had a couple of minutes to stretch and to do her thing. And then she will approach us first. Whereas with Isaac, we can get right at it. We can start, hey, what's going on this week? What are you up to? How'd you sleep? Do you want some breakfast? It's just different. We have a different routine. And so by embracing the flexibility, it allows us to shift and make changes because as they grow and as time goes on, their needs change too. So progress over perfection. That's number 2, is it will take time to get back into our routines. It's worth the hassle. It's worth the effort. It's worth the work because when they're in a routine and we get it going, then we can manage our own schedules, our own energy, our own life a little bit easier. So take the progress and take your small wins and aim for like a balance of this is what we absolutely need to get done. You absolutely need to be on the bus or you absolutely need to be in the car driving to your community day at this time. So take that. And then it's like, okay, well, what do we need? Well, you can take breakfast with you or you can, read your book on the way. Like there's things that you can like progress over perfection. It's not about having the routine done on the first day. Now, I will tell you, when my kids went to public school, when my kids were younger, and when I had more, like when free will wasn't as free as, and they didn't have as much will, as I would start that school routine, getting them up earlier, about 2 weeks in advance. So that way, and I would just, I'm trying to get them into bed at the same time, 2 weeks in advance. So that way it was a little bit easier on all of us. But now that they're teenagers, they can watch the clock and they know what's happening. And they also know in their minds that there's no one to wake them up. There's no specific reason to get up in the morning. There is. We work through it. But I mean, let's face it, they're on their summer brains still. But if we reduce the pressure of trying to get everything done, do everything, meet every expectation, whether it's reasonable or not, give yourself some grace because they need it too. So if you give yourself, then you can give it to them as well. So progress over perfection. And then, ladies, I know you have worked hard to start setting up your non-negotiables and to set up some self-care this summer. So now we have to keep that self-care is a non-negotiable. We need to take care of ourselves. Yes, it is essential that we effectively manage our life, our business, our responsibilities, our families. But it's not just about managing it. It's about experiencing it. Without taking care of ourselves, without getting ourselves sleep and eating healthy food and moving our body, without these non-negotiables, we're not going to be able to have the ability to manage the kids. There's so many high emotions in my household. I have to be uber aware of my own energy and my own emotions because if I am not in control of mine, then I cannot take what my 14-year-old daughter throws at me. And so self-care, taking a deep breath, having my time sitting on the front porch with my tea is essential. And I'm not talking about 2 minutes. I'm talking about like, I want to do it 15 to 30 minutes where I just sit out, whether it's with a book, with my quiet time, with music, or complete silence. It doesn't matter. I have my tea and I'm there. Like that's the non-negotiable part of it. It's all the others is what I need. I don't let myself scroll. I don't let myself, anything that's going to distract me for the day. Like I want to set it up as a win. So a non-negotiable is I want it to fill me. I want it filled with gratitude when I'm done, not feel like I just spent 30 minutes looking at other people's lives. Like that's a non-negotiable for me. So these three things, like we want to make sure we want to simplify. We want to, there's a million non-negotiables, but if you just know that this one is, I need this in order to make everything else work. For me, I need to wake up and I need to gather my thoughts before I have to gather everyone else's. And so that's why that is a non-negotiable. That's the one thing with self-care that I'm like, I don't give up. So what is it for you? Could it be your cup of coffee? Could it be a morning walk? Could it be your quiet time routine? Could it be whatever it is? Maybe you wake up one child and have coffee and hot chocolate with that one, knowing that special time is actually really precious and your child wants to do that. Like it doesn't have to be only about you, but it does need to fill you up. So self-care is a non-negotiable, even in this first couple of weeks of school. All right. So we will talk later about once the routines and everything. And I know that if you are running your business during this, if you're starting your business, you have to give yourself some grace throughout this time. Even with having my business for 4.5 years, during this first couple of weeks, I have more time, like focus time blocks for the kids than I ever do. Like we start off strong and then I can pull them away and do other things. But I put some of the things that I know I need to do, I shift them and I get more clear. And there's things that I set down in order to be, because once they're successful, then I can be successful. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you have an amazing start to the school year. I know that for many of you who are watching this, you'll already be in that. By the time this airs, I will already be in the midst of first weeks of school and that. And so this is a reminder for myself as I'm planning the kids coming home on Friday and school starting the day they come home. This is where this came from. I needed to take a moment and say, okay, how can I make this successful? How can I protect me and help them be successful? And how can I keep my business growing? How can I still live my purpose and stay moving forward, keep the momentum, keep the motivation, and really enjoy that first, the stepping into the new school year and enjoy that process as well. So I hope this was helpful. If you have not left me a rating and review on this podcast, I would really appreciate you taking 30 seconds and doing it. It means a lot to me. I read them all. This is how others find the podcast. If you have someone who you believe would benefit from listening to this and they just need that encouragement of it's really easy. We do 3 things and it sets us up for success. Please send them this podcast. And if you're ready to turn your purpose into a profitable business, if you're ready to step into your calling that God has placed on your heart and see how you can make a bigger impact and find financial freedom and life freedom in that as well, get on my calendar and let's talk. I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait to talk with you. I can't wait to continue to see you shine on this journey. With that said, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will see you in a few days. Bye for now.